Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well. Are the New York Mets a playoff team as currently constituted for the 2024 season? That's actually a very good question. A very good question and very interesting, especially since we have expanded playoffs and six teams make the playoffs right now. So it's actually a good question. And fact of the matter is, this is probably one of the most underwhelming off seasons in quite some time, definitely under the Steve Cohen regime. Usually it's flashy. Usually we have big moves, big signings. Not this year. Quite the opposite and quite disappointing in my eyes. I'm still hoping that we get our protection for Pete. I'm still hoping that we get another good piece in the bullpen. And I'm still holding out hope that we get another top tier starter somehow, some way, because my goal is not just playoffs, to advance, to build, to attract future free agents, to build something special here. Okay, so we are going to get into that. But as always, if you want to join the family, like, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I would welcome you to the family with open arms. You guys mean the world, and I love reading the comments. I love interacting, and I would love anybody new to join the family. Okay, so that being said, let's start off by looking at our starting rotation. Often, teams flounder and teams, their success or winning streaks don't develop because their pitching staff isn't good and doesn't have potential. So let's look at what we have. Obviously, right now, Kodai Senga looks like he's going to be the hands down ace. I don't see any other guys really superseding him this year. I mean, Kodai Senga in his rookie year, you couldn't have asked for more. I continue to see Kodai Senga getting better. I continue to see him getting more comfortable in the United States, in New York, and he's just got a nasty repertoire. So I could definitely see him being successful. So we have our ace. That is a good thing. That is really a good thing. Now we have a lot of question marks behind it. A lot. And I'm not happy with anything after Kodai Senga. Really not. But the fact of the matter, I'm going to start off by talking about Luis Severino. Luis Severino is a guy, besides last year, who has had success. He's had success besides last year. Last year was horrific. 4-8, 6.65 earned average, only pitched 89 innings. Everything about it was horrific. Whip of 1.65. I mean, it was just a horrible performance. You just can't slice it any other way. But David Stearns and scouts have identified his problem as being that he tips pitches. That's what they identified it. Not that his stuff has totally dropped off the table. I mean, there's a couple of things that they need to tweak, but he's a guy that still has a lot of potential. I mean, just in 2022, he went 7-3 with a 3.18 earned run average. I mean, that's just a little over a year ago. A little over a year ago, he was a very successful pitcher. Now, the thing is, ever since 2018, Severino, when he has been good, he's been notoriously injured. So not only do you have to overcome the fact that he stunk last year, you got to overcome the fact that this guy is notoriously unhealthy. So that's the big problem with Luis Severino. Even if he is good, is he going to be healthy? Okay, so let's just say he corrects himself. Okay, maybe he eats up 100 innings, 120 innings. You're still going to need to add more pitching, more depth. Then you're going to need guys like David Peterson and Tyler McGill to step up. You're going to need these guys to eat up innings. Even if they have a low 4 earned ERA and they are productive, it looks like we're going to need those guys to step up big time. Okay, so Luis Severino, whether you want to slot him 3-4 in the rotation, he is what he is right now. Next guy we're going to highlight is Sean Manaea. And Sean Manaea, and what I've said about him when he acquired him, it's really hard to evaluate Sean because he's a guy who has completely changed his repertoire. I mean, he came in 3-4 years ago. I mean, not came in, but when he was pitching 3-4 years ago, his average fastball was 90 miles per hour. Now his average fastball is 94 and he can hit 97. So whatever he learned, whatever techniques he's developed in driveline, it has helped his velocity, and hopefully that's going to translate into him being a superior pitcher. Then, not to mention, he's tweaked his repertoire, adding the sweeper, so he's given the batters different looks, hopefully enhancing his performance, enhancing his numbers. Him and Severino both have 1-year contracts. That not 1 year. His is a little more tricky, but they can both be free agents in 1 year. Let's put it that way. That being said, they should have all the motivation in the world to succeed. They're both 30, 31, so they're not old guys. So if you can take advantage of the upside of these two gentlemen, behind Kodai Senga, there is a bit of potential. Then you have Quintana was, he pitched very good last year. If he continues to do that, you're okay. Not last but not least, you have Adrian Hauser. He's a guy I don't have that much high hopes for, but he's a guy that I was talking about. Hopefully, he's able to eat up a lot of innings. That's what I hope for. If he's probably going to have ERA in the fours, and his stuff is not lights out. It's not dominating, but he's a guy who will eat up innings. Hopefully, in Citi Field, his numbers won't be that bad. Okay, so how does that rotation rank? Where will it probably rank amongst other rotations? So I would have to say, if I'm being fair, it's probably like the 22nd, 23rd best rotation in baseball, right? So not good at all. Upside, maybe it could be middle of the pack, but is that enough to carry us over the edge? Like, is that enough? Is our offense that dominant? So if we go through the offense, obviously we have to highlight around Pete Alonso, right? Have we done anything to protect Pete? Not really. Are guys going to step up like Vientos and Beatty? Alvarez continue to grow? Could they potentially provide protection for Pete? That's a possibility. I was hoping Mauricio would be in the lineup. It doesn't look like that's going to happen until late in the season. But still, you have Nimmo, who, as recently people have read that he's one of the top left fielders in the game, and rightfully so. He's a very solid piece, high on base guy in the beginning of the lineup. Then you're going to have Lindor, one of the best shortstops, top 2, top 3 shortstops in all of Major League Baseball. Top of the lineup. Pete Alonso, obviously. Marte, you don't know about Marte. He's been looking decent, I guess, in a winter league. We don't have high expectations, and that seems to be the theme. Lower your expectations, and so we can exceed it. Unlike last year when we had higher expectations. Then if McNeil, I'm always a guy who crushes McNeil, but McNeil, he's a 2-time All-Star. He's a batting champ. He's a silver, he's been a silver slugger. So, you want to have the best version of McNeil. And that's what you're going to need, especially that we don't have that extra bat in the lineup. But is that enough? Is Lindor, is McNeil, is Alonso, is maybe a better version of Marte, is Alvarez, is Beatty, is Vientos. Is that going to be a lineup that's going to instill a lot of fear into the opposing pitcher? How dominant could that lineup be? I'm still holding out hope that, we have guys come up that really surprise us, like Luis Angel Acuna, or Drew Gilbert, because, yes, we have a couple nice pieces. We don't have enough firepower. Bottom line, we don't have enough firepower as currently constituted. What if we go out and add another bat? Maybe that's another story, but right now, as currently constituted, we don't have enough firepower. Drop a comment. How do you feel about that? I feel right now we're probably a middle of the pack offense. So if our pitching is somehow in the low 20s, 22nd best pitching staff, 15th or 16th best offense, that's not impressive. And bullpen, maybe we could be a top 10 bullpen. Diaz is coming back. And it's really hit or miss with a lot of bullpen guys. You can have a lot of guys who come out of nowhere and have, magical seasons. You can have a guy like Jorge Lopez, who has decent stuff, really pitch lights out. So, starting off with Edwin Diaz is a major advantage, but having a top 10 bullpen, a top 15 offense, and a top 22, top 23 pitching staff, is that enough to make the playoffs? Even if there's six spots to take advantage of, I don't know. And the reason why we're evaluating that is because David Stearns has publicly stated that is the goal. That is the goal. I'm not crazy about that because in years past, obviously, Steve Cohen says the goal is to win the World Series, and that's what we're trying to do. So I know we have drastically lowered the bar, and I always constantly say, don't let the teams lower the bar. Do not let a guy like Steve Cohen, do not let an organization that resides in New York City lower the bar. You see the Knicks, the Knicks right now, if you're a Knicks fan, they are rocking and rolling and dominating. They just killed the Nuggets last night. I mean, it's beautiful when a team gels and wins in New York. It is beautiful. You have the best fans in the world, and the fans want to latch on to that winning team, that winning product, and we want to win so damn bad. So we are just hoping and praying that the team find a little bit of luck, find a bit of chemistry. Hopefully a lot of these young guys come up and grow together. We have a lot of good offensive guys that seem like they're coming up. But we just got to wait and see right now. It's a wait and see approach. And I think David Stearns is going to be doing a lot of evaluating this year, a lot of evaluating. I expect him to be a lot more aggressive next offseason. I really want to kill him. And I've had a couple other videos where I have overreacted, but I'm not really sure that it's that fair to overreact right now. I really don't. I really don't. And I can understand people who are upset and that want to see the Mets do more because I want to see the Mets do more. I have to hold everything inside myself to say, hey, you know what? Look at the big picture. Look at the big pictures. The Mets last year, the year before that, always went for that instant gratification move. And where did it get us? Where did it get us? So at the end of the day, if we're going to be better off in 2 or 3 years and we're going to be able to build a sustainable winner that can compete year after year for a World Series title, I mean, that's what we're looking for, essentially. Really, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for long-term success. We're looking to be consistent year over year. And it's not just, a one-shot gratification, really. It's not just about one shot. Yes, especially people in New York, you want that instant gratification. You want it right now. We're not patient. I'm not patient. I want it now. And, but at the end of the day, David Stearns has to be smart about this. From past experiences, teams haven't been really willing to give the Mets anything at the trade deadline. They've been the only thing the Mets can do at the trade deadline. Hey, if you want to give up your top 1, top 2 prospects, yeah, we'll trade you this. The only time we were able to wheel and deal was last year when Steve Cohen latched on millions of dollars to the Verlander and Scherzer contract. That's how we got decent prospects in return. And we still didn't get any pitching prospects. So just goes to show you the value of pitching, but goes to show you how hard it is for the New York Mets to conduct themselves. And I'm just hoping at the end of the day, and we've seen it, guys like Billy Epler, they weren't that good at maneuvering at the deadline. So if that's the case, I have a lot more hope that a guy like David Stearns can wheel and deal. He seems like a guy who's a lot more analytical, and I just have a bit more confidence in him than Epler. Epler, I absolutely had no confidence in. But all right, we're going to stop here right now. I appreciate everybody who's come to this point. I mean, I really appreciate you. If you could like and subscribe, really helps out the channel. We're continuing to grow. And I thank you for everything. I really do. We're gonna have some more videos, and it's gonna be fun. As the season goes on, we're gonna feel the passion from our team, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. It really is. Like I said, I wish the team would do more so the videos would be more exciting. But at the end of the day, we gotta take what we have. So I will talk to you soon, and let's go Mets.